Hey y'all, welcome to a new episode of the You Feel Me podcast. And today is a special event for us because we are talking about Stankonia. Today is the 20th anniversary of Stankonia, and it is OutKast's album that I believe is one of the most influential. It was the album that actually broke them into the mainstream because of the song Miss Jackson and of course Bombs Over Baghdad. These are top charting songs, and it was the first for OutKast themselves to actually be able to cross the barriers of just hip-hop. So Stankonia reaching its 20-year plateau, we wanted to go ahead and talk about how this album was influential then, what we thought about it then, what we think about it now, how it holds up to the current state of music, and how Stankonia was able to influence music in general. So let me go ahead and give it to my big homie Wayne, what you think about Stankonia, bro, after listening to it again?
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it, man. So look here. I agree with you. Stankonia is one of the most influential albums. It's a great album. It's one of my favorite albums. It's not my favorite OutKast album. This is a great album. After listening back to it, I go back to when it first came out. When it first came out, 2000, I believe I was like in the 10th grade. I didn't appreciate it for what it was. Like, I love the singles. I love the So Fresh and So Clean. And I still feel Miss Jackson is one of the greatest songs of all time. I don't mean hip hop. I mean, it's one of the greatest songs. I mean, you need to go ahead and put it up there with, Sweet Caroline or Achy Breaky Heart or whatever the hell's in your list. You know what I mean? Like, go ahead and put Miss Jackson in there as well. The thing about this album is it's really, there's no cohesion, and I think it sounds like a little scattered. But I still love it for what it is. Like, I've even tried to maybe rearrange the songs and say maybe this album was a victim of what do we call it? The bad song placement. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I feel like
album fillers.
Right. But I think like there's no album fillers. Everything has a place. Every skit and interlude, has a message and a point. But it's just still something where it just sounds a little off. And I felt that way even when it first came out, like back in 2000, even though I'm like 14, 15, however the hell I was, how old I was back then. This is a wonderful album.
It is
wonderful. But I don't want to say something's missing. Nothing's missing. I just feel like it doesn't cohese. Like, it doesn't mesh well. You know what I mean? Like, like I said, it's scattered. The story is kind of scattered, but it's understandable to an extent. Do you kind of see what I mean, or how do you feel about it there?
So, me personally, when I listened to the album, I listened to it twice when you came up with the idea, because today, which is Sunday, is the actual, anniversary. The first thing I thought was, when I first listened to it, I was like, this album has a lot of like skits. It kind of reminded me of, I don't know anybody remember Tory Lane's first album. It had like a whole bunch of like skits. And everybody hated that shit. Man. Everybody hated that shit. Like, everybody was like, nigga, we know the story, nigga. You rapping and singing and shit.
And then real quick, and then it was like simple skits. Like shit we would have just known. We didn't need the skit. Like, it was like, I was walking to my car one day. I opened the car door and sat in the seat. Like, yeah, nigga, we know. We know.
Nigga. We know.
Yeah,
nigga.
It's like, it's so dumb.
And you just talked about it on the song. But that's not how this album. This kind of how this album was, actually, because each one of the skits kind of led into what the next song was kind of be about.
Right.
But I believe that there's a method to that madness. And to me personally, this album is very experimental. So when I first listened to it, I thought it was a very experimental album. When I listened to it again this morning, I said, okay, I think I know what this album's about. Now, give me a second. Extinction Level Event was an album that Busta Rhymes came out with in 1999.
Yeah.
My favorite Busta album. Because that song, I forgot what it's called. I think it's called The Message of Some of the Event. It's like New York, Jersey, B-more, GC, Virginia, Atlanta, everybody, wow, whoa. Like that whole album was about how 2000, there was going to be like an extinction level event. And that was like his whole concept. I believe Stankonia actually is like the exact same thing about how at that time in 2000, you know, this is a major event in the world. We're moving over to a whole new fucking century, right? So
this is Y2K.
Y2K,
beginning, but
you know, beginning of the 21st century. Like this is some shit. So we all kind of knew that there was going to be a lot that happened within this century, and I feel like Stankonia was basically kind of like looking at the world of how it is and how we need to progress forward within the next 2,000 years. And that's what this album sounds like. It sounds like hip hop, pop, rock, all infused in the funk, all infused into one. And that's the reason why you need those breaks, because if you just play that shit just straight with none of those breaks, that shit sound crazy weird.
Yeah.
It don't sound right. Because you got like gangster shit. And then after that, you got like that song with Erykah Badu or whatever. And that song is a funk. Yeah, that's a funk song, which that song switches into hip hop because the beat change.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that I think that that's what that whole album was about the world, how it is, reflecting on how it was for the past 2,000 years, you know, and then how we need to make it better in the next 2,000 years. And that was like the whole idea of Stankonia, like this new planet, this new time that we're entering into, which is experimental and free, but it still has the same old nigga problems that we just moving into with. And that's the reason why you got gangster shit. And that's the reason why you got Miss Jackson, because that's the reason why you got Spaghetti Junction, is because all of this nigga shit we still bringing right into us, into the 21st century, when it should be so new and experimental. We can't just let this shit go. That's what I think the album is about. And that's the reason why I feel like conceptually it's one of the best albums ever. But it is a really top heavy album. The hits are the fucking hits. And they are the
top
heavy.
They are the
shit. But the other songs,
because you know what, if I can let me cut in right here. Let me cut in right here, because I feel you on both of what you said. It is very top heavy.
Yeah, it is big top heavy.
Like for me, right around like gangster shit.
Yup.
On down. I can maybe do without.
Yeah.
I can even do without gangster shit. And even the last song on that, Stank Love.
Yes.
That's a dope track. You know what I mean? But it's those songs that I can kind of, I don't need to hear.
Like the I can make you come. Even though Gangsta Boo, that right. I'm sorry.
No, I'll call before I come. No, I need that shit, bro.
Yo, that shit is ill. Gangsta Boo. I was like, I have a problem with rapping over any type beat. I love all types of beats, but I have a problem with rapping over any type of beat. She seemed like she could rap over everything and make it sound gangster booish. So that was cool. But I feel you, bro. Go ahead, man. I ain't mean.
No, it's fine. But I wanted to go back to what you said about what the album was about. I feel you what you were saying, the change of the millennium, the new world order.
Yep.
I feel you. But I also see, and that's another thing with this album. It's like what you're talking about is so wide that they're talking about something so worldwide that we're all afraid of, that we all don't know what's going on. But I listen to this album, I can still hear like the basement in it.
Oh yeah,
I can still feel the hunger. Like I know that it's still niggas like in the studio or in wherever the hell they are. You know, they're fake slumming it. You know, they don't need to slum it anymore, but they want to slum it a little bit just to kind of, you know, feed off how they were coming up when they first started rapping, you know. Like you can hear that in the music, and it sounds as worldly as this album sounds. I feel like every time I'm listening to it, it's like I know what they're talking about and no one else does. Like no one else outside of Georgia or the South or anybody. Like the beginning of the album is when he talks about, hey, we're bouncing.
Yeah.
We're bouncing. Bounce, baby. You know what I mean? And he's like, yo, nigga, we created this bouncing shit. Atlanta created, like, this is Southwest Atlanta too strong, nigga. They're like, everybody want to go around bouncing, give us our love, give us our respect. You know what I mean? Like, I can hear, it's just straight Atlanta. It's just straight Georgia. It's just straight Swats. It's straight East Side, straight whatever the hell you want to call it. You feel me? But still, somehow it just became more, okay, let me say this. The singles, Bombs Over Baghdad, Miss Jackson, like, that's the worldly shit.
Yes.
In the innards of this album, in between this album is the shit like that people really skip. But it's meant for, like, it's just one of those things where it's the people who need to hear it aren't gonna hear it. And the people like you and I who know about it, it's like we already know. Yep. But the shit is still jamming. Yep. And it's still giving us a message. Yep. But the people who need to hear it aren't really getting it because they're too busy, Bombs Over Baghdad or Miss Jackson. You know what I mean? So, like, in its worldwide conceptualism, like, I can still hear it, just like, I can just, like, close my doors in my room and know exactly what the hell they're talking about.
Do you think you could listen to this album with no skips? Because you said there was a whole bunch of songs you'd be like, I could do without that shit.
I can listen to this album with a whole bunch of, with no skips.
Would you enjoy it?
Yes, I do enjoy it. I listened to it like maybe 3 or 4 times this week. Yep. I do enjoy it. It's just I still can't get over just kind of like how it goes from one thing into another. Like, even the interludes are supposed to, like, break up that. I always say, like, the interlude kind of breaks up a feeling. Yep. Like, the album starts off kind of like, everybody love to smell of gasoline, and then right after that it's like So Fresh and So Clean. But to go from Gasoline Dreams to So Fresh and So Clean, it's like, that's like a hard turn. Yeah. So they put like the So Cool interlude, like, oh, I'm cool, bitch, stay off that blow. You kind of need that to kind of break that energy. And that's what all of the interludes do. So everything, if I understand that everything has a place and I know where it's getting to, I can listen to it all day because I know where it's headed. I know what the meaning is. I know at the end it's going to give me something. So yes, I can't listen to this album the whole way through. I just don't think it's their best album.
I would say that when I listen to this album, you can really see the differences between Big Boy and 3 Stacks. Right?
I want to talk about that too.
So 3 Stacks, and I listen to it on Spotify where they got the canvas shit, so you can add like your own little, and I don't know how it is on Apple Music. But on Spotify, they have like different canvases you can add for each song. So there'll be like little videos, like little 10-second clips or 5-second clips that you can play when you listen to the song. Okay. And it's weird. That shit really is crazy because when you listen to Stankonia, you can tell the songs that Andre 3000, this is his songs basically, because they come up with like Andre 3000 videos. So my point is that this album is like Speaker Love Box and, you know what I'm saying, the Love Below and all of that. Speaker Box. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It sounds like that, but it's just mushed together. Because when Big Boy does his gangster shit, you could tell that's Big Boy's song. Or when Big Boy did like So Fresh and So Clean, you can tell that's Big Boy's song because Big Boy is that pimp type nigga. But 3 Stacks, you can tell is his song when he does a song with like Erykah Badu, or when he does like some of the interludes where he's just like singing and stuff like that, or anything that's like funk related or like all that type of relation. That's 3 Stacks. Now, of course, 3 Stacks can still rhyme, but you know what I'm saying? I personally feel like this album should have been a double album, which it technically is. Let me. All right, give me a second. Give me this because I'm glad you brought that up. Let me get a sip of water real quick. Let me take a sip of this wonderful Celsius. Thank you, Celsius, for sending me my case. Yeah, I mean, support Celsius because they help keep you up. It's actually a diet solution or whatever. And it's carbonated, but it don't make you bloated. And it tastes good. This is the Beach Vibe or Peach Vibe, and it's 5. So go ahead. Yeah. No, that was a quick promo, y'all. We trying to get ads in here. Give me some money. So but yes, let's get into it because I'm so glad you brought that up. I'm so glad you brought up the fact of the differences between Andre and Big Boy on his album. I feel like Stankonia was
the prequel to the Speaker Box Love Below. It was definitely the prequel. It was more the prequel to Speaker Box than the Love Below, but
yes,
I think it showed you mentally where Andre 3000 was going, and you really couldn't see or hear that until the Speaker Box Love Below came out.
Yep.
Right. I feel like Andre 3000 was like his mind was elsewhere. You know, I read that he didn't want to rap really too much anymore. He was more on some singing stuff. He wanted to kind of just switch it up a little bit. You know, he was always kind of the out of the box guy, right? So, you know, he just kind of wanted to switch it up a little bit. And like you were saying, when I listened to the album, he didn't want to do that gangster shit anymore.
Yep.
Like he did not want to do like what they did in the past, the Southern Cadillac music. He did not want to do none of that anymore. You could tell because he was on a lot less songs.
Yes, he was.
If I could run it down, like from what it was always like the bigger songs where Andre could shine.
Yep.
Is where he chose to be on, like Gasoline Dreams. You know, everybody love the smell of gasoline.
That's rock inspired.
You know,
you hear that rock in there.
That's the shit that he wanted to do. And his rapping is not even like rapping. It's like take Gasoline Dreams, all the skis, fo, and then you know it's just like some different shit. And like he's on Miss Jackson. You know, that song was for him, you know, by him. He wrote that for Erykah Badu and, you know, whoever else.
Big Boy wrote about his baby
to relate
mama.
to that song.
Yep.
Right. You know, but if you listen to like all the songs, a lot of this album is saved by the contributions of others, by the features. Now, there's a flip to that. Like, I believe that this album was saved by, you know, a lot of the features, but also I feel like they left the features open or allowed to have a lot of features to push their new record label. I think it was Aquemini Records or something they were trying to push. So they put a lot of people, you know, Killer Mike, you know, they had you know, Goody Mob on there, you know, they did Dungeon Family, so they go have them on there. Organized Noise did a good majority of the beats.
Yep.
You know, so I feel like what else was it? He wasn't on a lot of the rap songs unless he was doing some singing shit. So you had Killer Mike, you had Gangsta Boo. It's like Explosion will be real. We just can't be amazed. Even if I think he only jumped on that song because Be Real was on it.
I think that is like very true. Because because I know that Andre 3000, even though he didn't really want to rap, he's that type of MC where he wants to rap with other MCs.
He wants to compete. Yeah, he wants to. And this song, another thing I've realized is Explosion will Be Real is kind of like Screw It on the Barbie from Aquemini. Remember Screw It on the Barbie with Raekwon? Yeah. Screw It on the Barbie, we ain't trying to lose. See, I got. And that song was major when it came out too, because it was New York and Atlanta, the South, coming together and doing some ill shit that both of the cities can love and represent and blast, you know? That's what it was with Explosion. It was the South and the West Side coming together, spitting that hard shit, spitting that lyrical shit. And Andre, he can't like be away from that. Like if you a lyrical dude and we gonna be on some lyrical shit, like I'm gonna show off my lyrical prowess. But if we just in the studio and we doing like I'll call before I come, then yeah, I'll do some stupid shit. Oh, thank you, Lord. Oh, like I'll you know, sing and try to do something different because that's where my brain is. But if you really want me to do some shit like on gangster shit, do you really want to know about some gangster shit? Andre 3000 got the last verse. And while it is dope, I felt like he didn't want to do it. Like he just did it because like all my niggas is in here doing it and I'm gonna go in here and write something because everybody else is. Yep. Like I didn't feel his heart in that song. And the songs that I feel his heart on are the songs that he wanted to be on. Yeah. And you can hear that, or I can hear that. You know, so this was majorly a big boy album featuring, you know, Andre 3000 and Dungeon Family and whoever else featured on the album. That's kind of how I feel, man.
Yeah, and I think that Big Boy does carry a lot of this album. I feel like a lot of people always say like 3 Stacks is the GOAT, right? Or on the GOAT list. You know what I'm saying? I would say this. This is what their third album, right? This was their third album.
Fourth. This is the fourth album.
Yeah. This is the one that blew them. This blew them up. Like in terms of they crossed over with this album. because we knew who the fuck they was in hip hop, because they was rapping back in '90s, early '90s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So let me ask you this real quick. Let me ask you. You say this is the one that blew them up.
Yes.
I feel like Aquemini was the one that blew them up. You don't feel that way?
No,
because they had Rosa Parks. What's that was?
And that song was big, but Miss Jackson was big.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah. It like detonated like hip hop, certainly in the South. Mm-hmm. It was literally like the jumping off point that got everyone else on, in my opinion. Like that helped Luda get even more popular, because it was like, oh, niggas in Atlanta like make like better music than niggas in New York right now, and that was like a big thing. It was like, because LA was gone kind of at that time. New York, they was still of course dominating, but it wasn't like when this shit came out. Like this shit changed. Right. This shit changed the BETs, and when people started hearing like 3 Stacks really rap, because he started doing like the basement and shit like that, and they was like, oh my god, like yo, this motherfucker is like a goat. Like he could really spit. But the thing I wanted to say was that like everyone says Andre 3000 is a GOAT. What about Big Boy?
Big Boy is not a GOAT.
He can rap though, and he's way more active than 3 Stacks.
Okay.
I mean, this nigga dropped like 7 albums. You know what I'm saying?
And name one song. God damn it, it's bad.
That is bad though.
Name a song, man.
I can't name one.
Yeah. I can name one, Kryptonite. I be on it. Yeah, but that's it. Like a lot of his songs don't really like hit and chart like that. And like you say, he's not. Big Boy is a great rapper, great producer, great all that. But when you're behind someone like Andre 3000, it's tough for you to get out of that limelight. Like he has his hand in everything else. Because I always thought that, like Big Boy was the weak link. Mm-hmm. He's not a weakling. He's not a weak person. He is very needed in hip hop. He always has been since he came in. He's a great producer, great songwriter, great whatever. When you're behind somebody as great as Andre, who doesn't drop anything but once every 10 years, but the shit that he has dropped is legendary.
Yeah. Yep.
Like it's hard to compete. Like we're talking about shit that he wrote on Stankonia 20 years ago.
Yeah.
We're talking about shit that he'll spit on somebody else's track, be featured on somebody else's track, steal the track. We learned the verse from that remix, and we'd be like, yo, this nigga is still the greatest.
Talking about walk it out, everybody.
I don't if you say real talk, I probably don't trust you. You know what I mean? But Big Boy, it's just hard for Big Boy to get on. It's like one of those things where Big Boy is highly regarded and respected in the South, and especially in Atlanta, Georgia. So he's super good, and especially in hip hop. So he's super good. But we don't give him the same amount of respect as we do Andre, just solely because he's right next to Andre. You know what I mean? And I think Big Boy kind of knows that a little bit. Like when they started making Stankonia, Andre was like, yo, I don't really want to do this rapping too much anymore. I'm on some singing shit. I'm on some whatever. I've been listening to this. I want to try something different.
Yep.
And Big Boy and the crew had to like build around that.
Which I think was a smart decision.
That speaks volumes.
And
absolutely.
It makes this album, I know it sounds scattered, but this album is so like, to me, it's kind of like this is an album I can drive 2 hours outside the city of, or drive around Atlanta. You could drive like Atlanta, and take you more than 2 hours, probably like 4 or 5 hours. Fucking Atlanta's big as a bitch. You know what I mean? But like, you can drive around Atlanta. Like I can listen to this album driving on, I-20, fucking up my car and shit because I'm fucked up roads. You know what I'm saying? Or 285 or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Driving in a fucking circle. I can listen to this fucking album like, and it's weird to me that an album that came out 20 years ago is probably better than any album that I've listened to this year or last year, or maybe the year before, maybe the year before that as well. So this album, and the thing I think that helps this album is the fact that it's very experimental. It has major hits, but also the instrumentation is key. Using live instruments is something that we have to get more into as musicians or artists, rappers. Yeah. I need to do a better job at doing more live instruments because you can hear the fucking live instruments. And when you have live instruments and people that can actually play keys and shit, you can switch up the beats like they do on here, from going from like a regular old boom bap beat to then it just being like a fucking ballad or some like synthesizer type of shit. You can't do that if you don't know how to play no fucking instruments. Like that, and right. Like you said, you could feel the basement here even with major songs. And imagine those songs being made, like Bombs Over Baghdad was made in the fucking basement. Bombs Over Baghdad? Yeah. Like that fucking song is stupid. The flow and being able to rap the way that Andre did on that song. Like, you don't hear shit like that no more. You won't probably hear shit like that ever again.
All right. Shit. Thank you, OutKast, for this incredible album, this incredible body of work. We truly appreciate it. And thank y'all for listening to another episode of the You Feel Me podcast. Man, please listen to this audio and all the other audios on the YouFeelMePodcast.com. That's our own personal website. Please tune in there. Please tune into YouTube. Type our name in the search bar, You Feel Me Podcast. You will see our lovely faces. You click on it and, man, just listen to the craziness that we throw at you guys, man. Thank you for listening so far. Like, comment, subscribe. Please subscribe. Please comment. Hit us with that like emoji. Hit us with that fire emoji. Let us know what you think about the topics. Y'all argue with us too in the comments and we'll debate back with you guys, man. We are anywhere your free podcasts are sold. You know, Apple, Stitcher, Spotify,
Overcast,
Amazon, Overcast. That's right, man. Overcast, man. We've been boosting our numbers up. Y'all listen to us, download Overcast and listen to us on that as well. Jesus, man. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Questions. Please send all your questions to questions@youfeelmepodcast.com. We will answer your questions on air. All right. If it's good enough, you know, please send your good, smart, intelligent questions, you know, and we'll answer them to the best of our abilities. Am I forgetting anything? Fearless.
Yeah, I got something to say.
Follow Twitter. Real quick. Follow us on Twitter. You Feel Me Cast @YouFeelMeCast. We'll be wilding out on there. You guys follow us there, and then listen to us on Fridays at 11 a.m.
Yep.
Fearless, what you got, G?
Fi out now, right now, available. Jimmy B Fearless Fi album out right now on all platforms and on YouTube, and also little special announcement since we're talking about music. Kobayashi will be coming out December 3rd. December 3rd on a Friday. The album Kobayashi will be coming out. It is my boom bap album. It is version volume 1, whatever the fuck you want to call it, coming out December 3rd. So keep your eyes out for that shit too. And the way you keep your eyes out to make it real simple, just follow me on like Apple Music or Spotify Music, or just go ahead and like us on You Feel Me Podcast, because we're probably gonna do an album drop down. Or you can follow me on YouTube at Jimmy B Fearless. You can go to my actual artist page and you can go ahead and just subscribe to that. And as soon as that album drop, you're gonna get notified. So do those things and you'll hear about Kobayashi. So listen to Find Now. Kobayashi on the way December 3rd. And that's all I got to say, man. Peace to the people.
Peace to y'all, man. Thank y'all for listening, man. Have a good night.